The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com
We were on the break!
with Ambar Garcia, Bryan Broaddus, Voch Lombardi, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Thursday, September 11, 2025, season 21, episode number 35. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break. We are live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. We're presented by LG. LG is the world's #1 OLED TV brand for 11 years and counting. See why at LG.com/OLED Evo. And before we get going, I do need to, I just want to recognize it being the anniversary of September 11th. For those of us that lived through it, it will be indelibly imprinted on our brains. But certainly for those folks out there who have family members who perished that day, I just think it's the right thing to do every time this anniversary comes up to just acknowledge those folks because they still live with the horrible tragedy that happened that day and their loved ones who perished. So giving a shout out to those folks, and we're definitely thinking and praying about you guys today, praying for you guys today.
Yeah, it's and if I too can say something too, there's a couple of scouts that lost their lives too with the
on the planes.
LA Kings lost a couple of scouts, and the gentleman doing things that we all love, evaluating players and going and seeing games and these things. So Ace Bailey, these guys, we all miss you. We really, really do for what you did, and like I say, doing something you absolutely love.
All right, we appreciate that, and let's go ahead and let's jump in to the Cowboys. There's a lot of different things that have kind of transpired here over the last couple days that we need to hit. We will get to in the second segment our breakdown of the Giants' defense versus the Cowboys' offense. Bryan and Voch have some stuff there for us. But let's start first with Deron Bland. We're hearing that he has an injury. I've heard two different reports. I've heard a foot injury. I've heard an ankle injury. I assume it's I think it's a foot injury. That's what I've heard more. But what do we know right now as far as the injury for Deron Bland?
Both.
It's both.
Yeah,
okay.
it's both. It's both. And I'm with you, Derek. Initially, it was. I thought, man, it was that fifth metatarsal thing was a problem on his foot before, and you were worried. Okay, did he re-injure that? But it's the opposite foot. Mm-hmm. It is a foot and injury. Foot and ankle is what they're saying. They didn't seem too concerned about it. Talking to people in the organization. Likely not going to play this week. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks as well. But at least right now, and it was something that happened on Monday. So it's not anything that came out of the game. It was a Monday practice injury, and so they're dealing with that. And Voch, they won't let us. They won't let two corners play together, will they?
Or three.
I don't know what is happening.
Yeah.
You go back to Jordan Lewis and Gilmore. All we've ever wanted was three really good corners on the field at the same time. And boy, we just keep on ducking and dodging now. Well, Trey came back super early. So oh boy, Trey's back early. We're definitely going to get our corners on the field now. But then Bland goes down. So hopefully Bryan, like you said on your golden phone, whoever it was you was reaching out to, that is not super serious, that is not Bland being
15
out.
15 years of working here.
Hey, man, that's much better than whoever I can call. I could just call Derek and that's him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just Bland will be back soon. We'll see.
We hope. Yeah.
We'll say. And we'll just go from there. And hope nobody gets hurt until then. But from the next move, I would say Reddy's up next.
Yeah, Reddy Stewart will probably step in there and play your nickel corner, and so that'll be Elam and Diggs, and then Reddy Stewart will be ready to go.
How much do you feel like there is a step back? Because obviously there's a reason why the starter's the starter.
Yep.
How much of a step back is it without Bland and with Reddy Stewart? Let's assume he's the guy, with him being the guy that steps in the slot.
If it was Zion Childress, I could have given you an answer because I've seen him. I don't know nothing about Reddy. I mean, we've seen some games from Reddy, and he's we have a decent report on him, and we've talked about him here on the show, but we don't know what Reddy looks like amongst all these guys. So I guess the Giants will be getting the first look when we will.
Yeah, this Giant bunch, as we and Voch and I get into this, though, we the defensive side, but the offensive side, this team will try and spread you out. They play with a lot of width on their offense. The Cowboys, that used to be a team, and we talk about now the condensed looks and stuff like that. The Giants play pretty wide. They play spread offense, so they're gonna need to be able to match up. With the thing that Reddy can do is he is a very good with the foot quickness stuff, and depending on how they put in with Robinson in the slot or Neighbors in the slot, that's where I think that this game can kind of hinge for them, because you felt comfortable with Bland being able to go in there, and then you were getting to a point where also this week it sounded like that Diggs is even ready to go more. I think he got some work last week against the Eagles, but now it seems like okay, full go, put him in there, and you were hopeful that you could go with Bland and Diggs as your starters, and then if you went to the nickel, then here comes Elam and you kick Bland inside. So now it's going to be Elam and Diggs as your starters, and then with Reddy being ready to go inside. But that's where he plays. He's a slot player. He's got quickness, and the matchups will kind of vary a little bit to whether whether it's Robinson or Neighbors.
Also, too, Brian, the Cowboys going to run a lot of zone anyway, so you're not going to get Reddy on some island with Wan'Dale Robinson. That may be fearful because Reddy's not the fastest corner in the world. But if we're going to be running zone, then he has to just communicate and pass things along. And if he knows the defense already, then that should be decent for him.
Well, at least you're playing the Giants, and we talked about Neighbors and everybody on the wide receiver corps yesterday, but with Neighbors, he was limited at practice yesterday with the back, and it doesn't sound like it's anything really serious, but still something that popped up on the injury report as well. And like you guys talked about it yesterday too, hopefully the pressure comes from the defensive line and they're able to do that work there, because you don't want to be able to depend on what the cornerbacks are now having to do if Neighbors is fully healthy.
Yeah, one thing of note, and I don't know if you guys mentioned this on the show. I've been a little MIA here the last few days, but Cowboys, I saw the graphic that maybe you guys talked about, that the Cowboys were had the second highest pressure rate in week one of the NFL among NFL teams. Which was a little bit of a surprise to me, because it didn't show up in sacks, but certainly from the standpoint of pressures, it showed up. And so if the Cowboys can continue that certainly can have an effect.
There's a good chance to continue on that this week with this bunch, with the Giants, yeah.
And the point being that this is not a quarterback that scares you with his legs, not like Jalen did. He actually took advantage of those situations and actually got out of the pocket, and then he's off and running. I don't think you have to worry about that as much against Russell Wilson.
I think a lot of that came from Jalen Hurts. And it sounds like I'm hating on him, sorry, but Jalen Hurts missing reads and holding on to the ball.
He does.
And then eventually pressure gets to him, and then he kind of runs around a little bit. Russell Wilson's going to try to get rid of the ball faster, so that number may look a little different. Yeah. But, boy, this Giants offensive line is much worse than the last one you just rolled up against, so that might even out a little bit.
Are there free agents out there? And I know we all agree that the Cowboys are probably going to go in-house for the answer here at cornerback for these few weeks. Are there free agents, though, that you guys, if you were making the call, that you would say, hey, I would give this guy a call and bring him in. I think he can help you?
Brian, social media says that we should be calling Gilmore. What do you think the front office thinks about
Well, the front office will tell you that they kind of feel like that Gilmore can't run like he once did, and cannot play with the quickness and the burst that he had. It was starting to kind of show up a little bit. The guy that's interesting is Asante Samuel Jr., but that's not until October. Mm-hmm. He's going to, and I don't think that one's coming cheap either. But they're confident that they can probably do stuff in house. I know the social media, as you said, guys, it tends to be, what about Gilmore? What about Gilmore? And I think they're going to try and, they made two claims, on the waiver wire, both cornerbacks, put two cornerbacks on the street, and they've got guys on the practice squad too. I think it's just going to it is going to come from in-house, but Asante Samuel Jr. would be the one that I would look at, but you have to get him medically cleared, and it's probably not going to be cheap.
Yeah, the Cowboys showed you what they felt about cornerback. Like, they let go a lot of their guys, and then Reddy and Weezy just kind of show up. I think Reddy and Weezy are your cornerback help from outside, and I think they're going to cross their fingers and wait for guys to get healthy, whether it be, Bland or Butler.
Yeah.
Butler, so I mean, that's just another name that you're just kind of waiting on. But if you're statement was just like a blanket, can we bring anybody in? Hey, running backs, we still looking around. If there's a team that has a young running back that probably doesn't want to be there, hey, well, I would love if the Cowboys could make that phone call there. If Jadon Blue is not consistent enough to give you burst on the field and Miles Sanders is giving the ball to the other team, then I think that's a conversation that the Cowboys carry 2 running backs for a reason, Brian. You know what I mean? Like maybe numbers and all this kind of stuff and not using Lipke, but maybe they only carry 2 running backs because they only really got faith in 2 of them. So maybe
at
that's
this point. Yeah, I think to me if it was interesting, and I just like everybody's opinion here. I felt like the Clowney visit was kind of strange in a way, and I know where. And I want to try and understand. And is it? Are you not happy with, or is it just like we're saying, always kicking the tires? I was told kick the tires, but you don't kick the tires if you're just like, okay, well, we're going to bring this guy in just to have a look. I just wonder if there's something in their mind that they're thinking about. Well, something with Fowler, something with Ezeraku, something with Sam Williams. Is there something that they're not getting that they could maybe get from Fowler, or is it fact that they're just trying to look at their emergency board and make sure that the guys they have? It just seemed like an unusual visit in week 2.
Well, give me your assessment of that, Brian. What you saw from those players that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you saw as a deficit that Jadeveon Clowney could possibly fill that would make Dallas say, hey, let's just take a look and see where he is, see if he's somebody that either now or in the future could be helpful to us?
Help me here, Voch, with this one, though. Is this a situation where you're kind of worried about Fowler just being a starter and then him not playing the assignment like he needed to play, especially with the run stuff? And is Fowler not a starter, but Fowler a guy that you just kind of want to bring off the bench? And then are you worried about putting too much on Ezeraku's plate?
I think that's part of it, but I think you can never have too many of those guys.
Sure.
You just let go of one of the best in the league, so maybe you're just crossing your T's and dotting your I's on possibly making that room back somewhere close to what it is. And I give the Joneses credit. Normally they'll wait around till Clowney signs to the Cardinals or something, and now we're like, okay, well, we can use pass rush help in week 8. Where's the help at? If you can bring Clowney in right now and bump guys on the roster down, Clowney may be an old character, but is he a better run game right now than Dante Fowler? Is he a better pass rusher right now than Sam Williams or something like that? So if you can find the help, go get the help. Like, pass rush or pass rushers, they're different than like quarterback. You got one quarterback that comes out, another quarterback comes in. You can put Sam and Clowney and Fowler on the field at the same time if you want. So just get ahead of it. And Brian, to your point, maybe they're looking at Fowler. And I always ask, how many more games of something negative do you have to see before you make a move on that? Maybe they're a couple of games away from making a move if Donovan Ezeraku isn't the rookie that we thought he was in camp.
Yeah, I think, honestly, that's the way I look at it. I actually think it would be early for me to make that kind of move because I kind of want to see how they develop. I think the edges, particularly those players, I think they played well in the second part of that game after the break, after the unexpected break. I thought they played better in the game at that point, specifically in run defense. And so that being said, I kind of want to play it out a little bit. I think you see what you see in Clowney. You see if there's something there that if you need him in the future, you could maybe go and make a deal with him. You probably find out a little bit about what his expectations would be from a financial standpoint. And then you just prepare yourself in the event that you need it. And then you let the weeks play out. And let's see how these guys perform. Let's see how Ezeraku develops as well. This is a rookie. So let's see how he develops as well. But I think it's a little early for me to make that kind of move.
AG, I mean, how about just having this conversation? You would have never believed we'd be thinking about making moves for defensive tackles. Now here we're talking about edges. Yeah. Never would have believed this, right?
Well, I'm here thinking, processing all this. I'm like, yeah, well, waiting it out and seeing has hurt us so many other times. Like, we've seen this story before in different positions where you just, let's wait it out and see how the talent develops. And then you're, next thing you know, getting close to December, trying to figure things out, and you can't, and it's a little too late. So I'm okay with them bringing in, and that doesn't mean I truly don't believe that it implies necessarily that they don't believe in the guys and the talent that they currently have. It's just one of those things, just like you said. you still need development. You still need that time to grow, and it makes you feel better if you do have some other experience there that is available at any given time, that you don't have to now be freaking out and going outside and seeing, oh, well, who we got. So I'm okay with that. Let's see what comes from it. He, what was the
Clowney?
Clowney.
Mm-hmm.
He was out here hanging out all day long yesterday, basically.
Did you have lunch with him yesterday?
Eating food, drinking.
He watched practice.
Yeah.
He was watching practice. So it wasn't one of those things that he came in and out and left. You never know what's going to happen. We could find some news happening today, but he was here for a long time yesterday. Since
you and Voch tend to want to make changes right now here, and Derek is interested in ride the course, who are you taking out of the mix, my colleagues?
Well, see, Bryan, think about this. When the Cowboys first made roster cuts,
that evil smile. Look at his smile.
This don't bother me. I'm used to this. When
I knew I couldn't draw you off sides.
Look, watch this. Because when the Cowboys first made roster cuts, they carry 6 edges.
They did carry 6.
You lose Micah, now you're 5. So maybe it was their plan to carry 6 altogether. So, hey, so now instead of your backup plan being like Peyton Turner or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
Boy, my backup plan is Jadeveon Clowney, who got 9 sacks 2 out of the last 3 years in the league.
This could be for Turner then, right? Instead of somebody that's currently playing right now?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
The other part to that, too, is, and this is the part where none of us really knows, or at least I don't know, is what are his financial if he's coming in and he's asking for a lot of money, again, I don't know that I'm ready to make that kind of commitment to somebody.
You're like, nah, okay.
Yeah,
I don't think he's played less than $10 million. I don't think
I think that if the money's not right, then I don't make the move. If the money's right, then maybe I consider it.
Derek,
even
you got money. What are you doing over there?
Yeah, but I still don't get reckless with my money. I don't care how much money you got. You still need to be smart about
this
how
organization loves to pay the top dollars for everything.
$10 million is much cheaper than what, 43, 47 or whatever it is?
Yeah.
So
it is.
So when you ran into Brother Steven and he said, "Yo, Bryan, I got some money."
Brother Steven told me he got money now.
Brother Steven
got some money.
Told me he got money.
Working.
All right, we're gonna take our first break. We'll come back. Let's talk a little about the Giants' defense versus this Cowboys offense. We'll be back in just a moment. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
Hey.
If you can't be at the stadium, there's no better way to watch your Cowboys than on an LG OLED Evo TV. That's because everything you see is more lifelike. Every play, every hit. I mean, you might as well be on the sidelines. That's how clear it is. It's all thanks to LG's legendary technology. Perfect black, over 8.3 million self-lit pixels. No one comes close. LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game for a reason. See for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you... Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service. Guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman here. As the official pitmaster of the Dallas Cowboys, you know I take cookware seriously, especially when it comes to America's team. So when the Cowboys are away, I'm putting my Yeti cast iron skillets to work to make my game day favorites for friends and family. I'm talking chicken fried steak, skillet queso, and peach cobbler. And just like the Cowboys are forever, so are these heirloom cast iron skillets. Check out the full line of skillets on Yeti.com or at a Yeti store near you.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Don't put off getting your oil changed, Dallas. Take 5 Oil Change, a proud partner of the Cowboys, is faster than you think. They're so fast, you don't even have to get out of your car. You can take advantage of Take 5's stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change at any of their locations across the Dallas area. And remember, at Take 5, you stay in your car because they're faster than you think. That means you won't even have time to show off your best touchdown celebration. Take 5, the official oil change of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back
to the break.
Choose perfection. Choose LG OLED Evo. Check out the best TV in the game at LG.com.
Welcome back. It is the second segment of the break. We are live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. This segment is brought to you by blockchain.com. All right, Bryan, give me a rundown on this New York Giant defense.
Voch, where do you want to start with this thing? Do you want to start with those edge rushers? You want to start with that defensive tackle?
I think the edge rushers are fantastic, and they may take the most of our time because there's three of them.
Right.
And the Washington Football Wizards did a pretty decent job dealing with Dexter.
Yeah.
So I think we should copy some of what they did, Bryan. Let's leave that off.
Okay, well, I tell you what, Dexter is one of those guys that's going to get double teamed. I mean, he's year in, year out, he's one of the highest double teamed guys in the league. So yeah, you're going to have to deal with him that way. He does something that's really kind of unusual, and Voch and I talked about this as being a couple of former offensive linemen, is in how to deal with these guys that play a certain technique. And when you watch Dexter Lawrence play, he crowds you. He gives you no opportunity to get any type of separation. So when you try and get your hands on him, he's already on top of you, so you can't extend, you can't get any momentum, you can't push him like you need to push him, because he's going to take all the ball. He's going to get right up on you. He's going to breathe the same air that you're breathing. That's how close he plays. He plays with a really wide stance,
very square,
and it hurts you when you try and get him. You get stalemated by him. He's a big guy. He's a powerful guy. That makes it very difficult. See, he forces you to have to double team him, and if that happens, now you've got some linebackers that run to the football. Well, the Giants lost Micah McFadden yesterday or the other day in the game against the Commanders. That really hurt them, because here you are with when you talk about what Lawrence does, the linebackers go along with it. So this is one of those difficult tasks. BB is probably going to see a lot of Dexter Lawrence right on his nose in this football game. And if the Cowboys they had some success last week handling those inside guys for the Eagles, this is another big task for them, Voch.
Bryan, sometimes what teams would do to deal with Dexter is they'll just let one guy kind of lose the fight, and the next lineman get to the linebacker quickly so that they could try to make a move there. And that really doesn't work, because Dexter's quicker than what you think he is, right? But him being so powerful, so square, so heavy, it is hard to kind of move him off his square. So we're Cowboy fans, right? So we understand Broaddus and his limitations. I was kind of mad a little bit, Bryan. I was kind of jealous, because they found a way to turn him a little bit, and Dexter doesn't get turned at all. So now, in my mind, you have BB, in which I think BB is much more powerful than what Tyler Broaddus was. Yep. Now, what you have to do as the Cowboys, if you're watching that film, Brandon Coleman was another guy that'll be in there helping at a guard. Use Big Tyler and use Book and turn Dexter Lawrence. So now what's not happening is him getting upfield, so now you can't get pullers around him. And the Cowboys pulled a bunch, whether it be traps, they did some midline stuff, counters. You don't want guards getting caught up in that funk. What the Cowboys were really good at, and shouts out to Shotty, man, because some of the old coaches didn't do this. But if you have a deficiency, the Cowboys went right at it. Shotty went right at it. Right. Cool, Carter's gone, I'm going right at B-gap. And what you saw movement on the interior, and you saw pullers freely down the line, Bryan Broaddus. So if you can get Dexter Lawrence moved, I think this would be a fantastic day to run right at him. And some Cowboy fans will be nervous about running right at Lawrence, but you've seen Brock Hoffman be our guy, or like we said, Tyler Broaddus. And the Cowboys have run the ball recently decently versus Lawrence. I think you're much better built in the middle from your guards and your center, and your running back. Really, Javonte can really pound on guys too. So just not again, Voch, but yeah, Javonte's a very physical running back.
You need to work on your vocabulary.
Javonte's
one time G-bag and an egg.
Javonte.
Did it win?
One time
Javonte.
Did he win? He won.
Javonte.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Javonte.
Kudos to you.
Javonte
He's trying to power through
Williams is a powerful running back.
Yes.
And it'll wear down the defense if you keep running right at him, Bryan Broaddus.
Okay, when we start to talk about then the edges here, and there's three of them. You and I kind of agree on, if you're going to run the football, you want to run it at these edges,
yes,
right? You want to wear down, because what we're thinking about, guys, is here, if this turns into a game where all of a sudden you're throwing every snap or having to throw every snap, these edges are very, very capable. I personally feel like that Abdul Carter, who they drafted very early last year, from Penn State, he is a guy at 3 pressures in the game against the Commanders. They're playing him just kind of like on third down, but what they're doing with some of these rushers is, whether it's Thibodeau, whether it's Burns, whether it's Carter, they're standing him up behind the line of scrimmage. We've seen this before if you remember, with what Dan Quinn did, what Mike Zimmer did. When you take one of your best pass rushers and you put them almost like an off-ball linebacker, and then just kind of find spots where to attack. And that's what they were able to do with Abdul Carter. They were able to move him around and say, okay, we're going to rush from this side. We're going to attack this edge, or we're going to attack the center. We're going to attack this guard. So you have to be aware that I feel like Thibodeau and Voch, Thibodeau has gotten better. Yeah. I think there were times where his effort wasn't always great, and he was a rush down the middle guy, and he got very, very frustrated with that. And now he seems like, to me, he's got a little bit better feel for how he needs to get after these tackles.
Brian, why don't you think the Giants take Burns off the ball? Because he's a little slimmer,
They do. It's funny. They do. All 3 of them do that. And what happens is they'll put Burns to one side, and then they'll put Carter
on the same side with him.
On the same side, yeah. So they're trying to put actually Carter playing as a 3 technique, or like a nickel tackle, defensive tackle. So now they're saying, okay, if you want to slide this thing to Thibodeau, or you want to slide it to Burns, well, you're going to have to also deal with Carter being on that side too.
Think about Burns, Brian, and I was shocked at how much they had his hand down, and he was right over Tunzel, and Tunzel would wrestle with him all day. Right. So when they ran the ball, they ran right at Burns. So in my mind, if you're the Cowboys, you want to do that exact same thing. And like I said, Burns 230 or something like that. Yeah. Tunzel got him up out of there. So Tyler Guyton, who's 320 or so, Tyler's not the biggest in the world, but he's heavy, right? So if Guyton leans on Burns a little bit, then maybe that'll take a little bit of energy out pass rushing later.
Yeah, we saw in the game against Philadelphia some really good, and you mentioned the pullers and the midline stuff that they were able to do. The combination blocks between Span Ford and Guyton were able to move some guys. Hall, the edge for the Eagles, they knocked him out of there, and then they got Smith inside pulling. So I would anticipate the same thing, Derek and Amber. I would anticipate that you're going to see the ball run at those edges. Maybe we'll see a little bit we'll see what happens inside if you get the doubles. But I think these edges, I would make them have to fight blocks all day running the football.
When you talk about them from a pass rush standpoint, I think we all look at them, and on paper, it's a scary number of edges, right, and they all, you think, have a lot of talent. Did they show that in game 1 that they were really a force and a menace when it comes to getting after the quarterback?
Carter's really good. Yeah. Carter's really good, and we have to think about who the Washington's line is right now. The Washington offensive line is much better than the Giants offensive line, right, Brian? So that's like Tunzel and some other dudes that we like for real, Brandon Coleman and those guys. So Carter got 4 pressures, I believe, Brian.
Three of them.
Pressures. 3, but you can see it in him. You could see it in him. He flies off the football. Burns is a veteran, but he was going against Tunzel. But Burns was, he was able to get sacks in other places.
Yeah, Burns is a guy that breaks you down. I think he's a little bit better. Thibodeau is get to your edge and try and win that way. Maybe win with a little bit more power. Yeah. Burns is a run up the field and slap your hands and move your hands and then get you kind of turned, and then he's attacking. That's the way that he was able to get to Daniels one time. Is he just broke the tackle down and finished right on the spot where he needed to.
Brian, would you say that Guyton and Steele would need more technique this game, or do you think that this is a game where they have to rely on their actual physical ability?
I think they're going to have to. I think it's going to be technique driven in this one. I did, because what you got to do is with guys like this that they're attacking you. Sometimes you get these edge rushers that have a lot of movement to them, and they're kind of back. They're going back and forth, and then they're rushing. Yeah. These guys are getting up the field with that. So that's going to be really important, because if you get a guy that does a lot of movement, all you do is sit, wait, patient. Voch will tell you about Booker. Some of the things that Booker has problems with quick defensive tackles is he gets too anxious. Yeah. He's too big. I mean, if he just sits down and waits and plays patiently, then those guys, they're not all that movement's not getting you to the quarterback. So, but the Giants are a little bit different. Their guys are trying to get to the edge and trying to break you down. Technique, footwork, getting out of your stance. Good thing it's a home game too, because you're not going to have to fight the crowd noise like you were fighting it last week. But they did a fine job in Philadelphia handling that noise and being able to get to where they needed to be.
All right, let's take our final break. We'll come back. I want to talk a little bit more, particularly about the secondary with the Giants, their pass defense. In addition to that, we'll talk about some matchups between the Cowboys and the Giants heading into this game. We'll be back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
Every day begins with a promise to work hard and to build a future. That's why we're here, providing the tools, expertise, and John Deere equipment you have relied on for generations to help you get the job done right. We're with you. That's our promise to you, because no matter the project or the challenge you're facing,
we're with you. We're united.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you... Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service, guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
How's it going? You see that Cowboys game?
Oh, I watched. Been seeing some good things.
Totally. They have some talent.
Yup, some great talent.
And they got some fight.
Hoping this is the year.
Me too. Oh, I'm Cody, by the way.
I'm Travis.
Nice to meet you, Travis. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys!
Make a new friend based solely on their shirt choice. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
From the field to the festivities, Lucchese embodies the essence of luxury and tradition. Handcrafted with meticulous precision, each pair offers unmatched comfort and style. Stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys collection by Lucchese. Shop the collection today at the Lucchese store at the Star in Frisco or online at lucchese.com. Lucchese, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Back to the break.
AT&T connecting changes everything.
Welcome back. It is the final segment of the break. We are live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. Let's get to this. Talk a little bit more about this Giants defense, particularly in the secondary. What does the pass defense look like for them?
I kind of feel like there's a couple of different avenues here that you can attack. And I was visiting with some of my guys at the Giants about this because I was thinking about Deonte Banks, who was a first-round pick in the 2023 draft from Maryland for the Giants. And I didn't see him play a lot. And I was asking my guys there, I said, hey, what's the deal with Banks? Is he hurt? Is he nicked up? What's the deal? And they go, no, they had an open competition. And then Cordell Flott, number 28, beat him out. So, and me personally, I think that's kind of a win for the Dallas Cowboys right there. I think Banks is one of these guys. I think he can play some sticky coverage. I think he's a little bit of a gambler in the way he plays, but I felt like that man for man coverage wise, he was solid. You know, I mean, it wasn't probably what they thought of as a first round pick, but watching him play, the quickness and how he competes and all that, I've seen Flock play a bunch. I have, and this is going to be the guy I think you go after in this football game.
Waldo.
Yeah, he wears number 28, and there's separation to his game. You could see he was having problems. We talked about in-breaking routes, the in-cut routes, things like that. He is just not good enough at trailing and making those plays. Things on the outside, if you throw right at him, tends to come forward and have that. But if he has to carry anything inside, it is a real problem for him. I'm surprised that he won that job. But my Giants guys are saying, yeah, it was an open competition, and here we are. I think on the other side, Paulson Adebo, I think that when you look at him, he's a guy that's going to. And last week in the game, he traveled with Terry McLaurin, and I wonder if, in fact, that they're going how much of that, like that man coverage, how much traveling are they going to want to do? Are they going to want to travel him with CD? Are they going to travel maybe with Pickens a little bit? Or are they going to find a way to play some zone? I amazed my man Voch Lombardi this morning, telling him that when CeeDee Lamb plays against off coverage, he's not as good a receiver. The numbers, the metrics, all that stuff just is completely different for him. When he faces man coverage or faces a guy traveling with him, he tends to have better numbers as a receiver. The off coverage stuff, where on the opposite of that, Pickens is much better when you give him, when he plays off, he's averaging almost 9 yards of reception when he plays off coverage against him. So it's kind of funny. The Giants got to kind of figure out how they want to handle both these guys, but they like to rotate their corners and try and get everybody an opportunity. And I'm sure you'll see a lot of different coverages from them.
Bryan, who would you say is better, Cordero Flat or our guy from last week, Jackson?
Oh, Dory Jackson. I would say, man, ooh. Oh, and my guy Flot's from LSU, so I can. Yeah, don't worry about that.
It matters to him.
It matters to him. I think that, me personally, I think that you attack this guy. I think Flott is. I think he's a little bit more. I don't think he's as quick as Jackson is. But playing off, Jackson didn't look like he was really driving on the ball. There were a couple of times, I guess, he made plays and stuff like that. He drove on one on an inside cut that was a little bit better. But Flott's capable of doing it. I just think that you see more separation than him playing than you do the other guy.
I think Flat is a much worse corner. I've seen every Cowboy take turns beating up on Flat, and the Cowboys know how to attack Flat. So if Paulson is going to be a guy that's going to run around, let's say he travels with Pickens or something like that, then cool. You got Flat versus CD. Good luck to you. I think Paulson and Debo shouldn't travel this week. If I had to imagine, the Giants maybe had confidence that Terry was the only receiver that can give you wide receiver type problems. Debo is a running back playing receiver, so maybe you feel better with your second guys kind of dealing with him. The Cowboys are a totally different type of deal. You got two outside guys, and then you have the interior mess going on there. I don't think that they're going to travel to Debo. I think they're going to keep him on one side, and they're just going to have to maybe shade coverage to the opposite side that Paulson is not on. Drew Phillips, we were a big fan of him in Draftland. Nickel guy. He seems to be like their second best corner, but I didn't really see him involved all that much, Bryan. You were talking about the rotation, so maybe he just wasn't on the field a bunch, but when he was there, I did see him.
He's going to play the slot, and you got to worry about him as a blitzer. I mean, there was a couple of times where if you play condensed formation and there's going to be a slot blitz, I think that Shane Bowen, the defensive coordinator for the Giants, has to kind of figure out. I don't think he can let Dak Prescott sit in the pocket and make throws. He's got to be worried. He has to feel like that his pass rush can get home, even though against the Eagles, the offensive line did a nice job, and Dak's showing the mobility that he's able to do. So how he handles this, how he handles the coverage aspect, I think Phillips could be a guy. If you're going to see blitzers from the secondary, I think Phillips from the slot would be that guy.
Talk to me about. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Just one more thing that I was shocked about, Bryan, is on paper Tyler Nubin and Holland, right?
Yeah.
They're both good corners, but just kind of safety.
Yeah.
Pardon me. They're both good safeties, but watching the film, if you got bad corners, it kind of makes your safeties bad also, right? So Nubin was a guy that I thought would be a really good rundown guy. Like he'll come up and tackle because that's what he did in college, Bryan. We were watching him. But Nubin was kind of a non-factor out there, and I was let down a little bit by that, Bryan. So I mean, if you're going to be throwing the ball at him, I think he's a guy that you can also beat up.
Yeah, we'll see with the situation too. With him and Holland, looked like they had some communication problems in that game against the Commanders. So maybe the Cowboys can take it. Maybe these guys probably just and not being on the same page for some of the stuff. There were some balls that were caught, and those guys kind of looked at each other like, was that your guy? Was that my guy? So maybe they're still trying to work through some things there too.
It's Flat's a guy.
You mentioned the safeties.
Flat's guy for sure.
How do the safeties and the linebackers match up with this tight end room? Because I do think the tight ends are a place where that becomes a bit of a matchup for the Cowboys. They want to be able to use those tight ends. They certainly want to be able to use them up the seam of the field. How does that match up from the standpoint of of what the Giants can do with their linebackers and safeties.
Micah McFadden is out, so their guy Darius Musau is there. I'm trying to go find Musau and see if I can get him on a really good matchup.
He struggled.
Him just running around trying to find somebody in open space is terrible for them. Yeah. So if it's me, this Jake Ferguson, go find him. Turpin, and that's the thing about Turpin is you can move him all over the place. Put him in the backfield, and if
make him have to cover.
And if you happen to catch him in man, then that's a touchdown for Dallas for sure.
Yeah. So talk about I think Voch, from the standpoint of the Cowboys, where do you see a matchup? Give me a matchup of this Cowboys skill player versus this player. This is where I'm going to exploit. This is going to be my target for this game.
This was going to be so fun, Derek. We're going to run out there and find wherever the hell Flat is.
Yeah.
Or if Deontay Banks as well. Just in case somebody's listening. Well, what if Flat got whooped so bad that they benched him and put Banks out there? There's history of the Cowboys beating the hell out of Banks too. So you're finding and honestly, Paulson Adebo isn't so great that you're going away from him, or even Drew Phillips, right?
Drew Phillips.
You really can do whatever you want to do here, but the key matchup, Derek, if you just ask for like a one-on-one, find tight end versus Darius Musau, or just finding whatever wide receiver is lined up against Flat or Banks.
And protect the front. If you protect the front,
that's the key.
Then now you can do some good against the second.
Tyler Guyton versus Brian Burns will be a fantastic matchup to watch. If you can win now, and I think you're going to have a fantastic day throwing the football.
How much do you guys trust what you saw last week? Because again, I think the offensive line played really well last week in protecting Dak. There were some times he had some pressure, but by and large, I thought they protected him pretty well. How much do you trust that now going into this week, where you may be facing better edges than you faced last week?
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask you, Voch. Do you feel like that the Giants' pass rush is better than what you saw in Philadelphia?
Brian, listen, man, I've seen 4 deal with Cam Irvin, Cam Fleming, Ty and Secchi. Like, he knows how to deal with.
How you trying to call those dudes out?
Shouts out to him, man. They don't work here no more. I've seen Dak navigate left tackle nonsense for a long time. I think he'll be fine. What you don't want is Dexter Lawrence whooping whoever in the middle. And
that's the strength of
getting up on his space.
That's quickly. The strength of your line right there. We felt like going into the Philadelphia game that was going to be a strength, even with guys getting knocked out of the game. But I feel like that they match up pretty well against the Giants inside too.
Plus, also too, Eric, pass rush in the first quarter is much different than having to deal with the run game and then pass rushing us in the third quarter. So if the Cowboys play a very balanced attack, I don't even think the pass rush should be that terrible.
Yeah, you mentioned a little bit earlier. You mentioned the running backs. How would you guys divvy up running back this week, knowing that again you had the fumble from Sanders last week? Blue was inactive last week. How would you kind of manage that running back position? How would you go into this game thinking you're going to utilize the different talents that you have at running back?
Miles Sanders had 4 carries.
He did.
Brian Broaddus.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to say take 4 carries away from the man. Yeah. It's 4 carries.
Give him 1 carry and see he get 49 yards.
It's
tough,
I was
about to say, he did get 49 yards on one.
He got caught. But if it's me, I mean, Brian, like,
they're going to need both. Brian, I think they're going to need both. I'm going into this game trying to run the football and wear these guys down.
Should you pass less to get Williams more carries? Because Williams got 15 carries, right? Would you want that number to be like 18?
The Giants have got to prove to me that they could stop the run, especially on the edge. If you run right at them, and I'm not saying, hey, it's make a living at a running inside against Lawrence. I'm saying run at these edges and kind of if they're going to jump around and try and not play square and take people on. I'm going to see if Span Ford and those tackles and these guys could get some push. I'm going to see Booker and these guys. You're going to need Sanders in this game because I think it's going to be hand the ball to Williams, get some positivity out of that, hand the ball to Sanders when needs be. Sanders might actually double his carries in this football game. That's what will happen.
So you're still not expecting to see Blue?
I don't think so.
Now, Brian, let me just ask you this.
Right now, I'm not.
Now, Brian, what if number 9 lines up at running back and he's like your bursty, fast running back?
That's where I think they're going to go with there. Yeah, I think that's, to me, handing him the ball is kind of like it's like a 6-7 yard gain every time. So yeah, I think I'm doing more of that.
Not as a gadget sideways.
No,
but just as a backfield.
We saw that. We've seen that in training camp. He lines up as a back. They hand it to him and he makes a cut. it explodes through the hole.
My hope is that they continue to integrate him even more into the offense. We saw it last week. We saw it all throughout training camp. I want to see more. I want to see him getting more opportunities on the offensive side of the ball to make plays, because I do think he is a player that creates a ton of matchup problems for the opponent.
Blue will figure it out eventually. I hope.
Of course he will.
Yeah. He's a rookie.
As long as he's ready by like week 9 or something, we won't even be worried about this. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, that's a wrap. We appreciate you guys joining us. We'll be back on tomorrow. We'll wrap this thing up, let you know what we think is going to happen this week. Cowboys versus Giants. It's a Sunday afternoon game. Until then, for Voch Lombardi, Bryan Broaddus, and Ambar Garcia, I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!